live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome everybody to Soul Purpose Healing. We're being realigned to get back into the rhythm of the Creator's love, wisdom, and compassion. So let's drum it in with Becca Shea. I got my drum. Get your drum ready. Let's drum it in with Becca Shea to bring more unity. You sleeping, giant. Unity, love, joy, peace, unity, wisdom, love, joy, peace. Come on in. We invite our ancestors to come on in and join us. Bring forth truth, love, peace, joy, forgiveness, all the high vibrations that we feel every day in our journey. Come on in. We love you. Come on in. Ooh. I hope. All right. I'm feeling the vibration and love of our ancestors tonight as we go into making sense of Israelism and refugees. I did have a guest scheduled for tonight. but they had to cancel. So it's just us. It's us. You're the guest tonight. All of my beautiful sisters and brothers who join me tonight, you are my guest. And we can talk a lot about this subject because, as we'll find out, the true meaning of the word Israel, you're going to know exactly who you are in this battle of truth and lies and deception. It's time for us all to know the truth about who we really are in this battle. But thank you for joining me this evening. And I want to give a disclaimer. I'm going to be playing a lot of videos, audios, and videos, and they are for non-profit educational purposes only. We don't own the rights, and this is fair use we're applying here tonight, as always, with all of the audios and videos I share. It's fair use because we're trying to educate people. We're really coming against all the ignorance, stupidity, prejudices, racism, all of that. We're coming against it with knowledge, truth, and wisdom. So thank you for joining me as my guest. You're my guest because my other guest planned had to cancel. And so we're here to learn about Israelism. Now, this is the name of a documentary that was made last year. At least it was put together, it was put out last year, called Israelism. And I'm sure many of you may not have heard about it. And if you have, great. Maybe you can really chime in on making sense out of all of this. Israelism, who is Israel? What is going on with refugees? Why? And I'm going to share with you a city that is having a wonderful time with refugees. Unlike America, Estados Unidos, who is really having a hard time with these people who just want peace, who just want to get away from the war. And maybe some of them are planted here in the Estados Unidos. We don't know the whole truth, but we just want to find peace with the people who are escaping countries that are fighting and war and killing and all that. It's craziness. And so we're going to talk about all that tonight. So you are welcome to participate in this discussion. As I said, I have a lot of audios, a lot of information to share with you tonight. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, just write a comment in and we'll read your comment. If you'd like to call in tonight and let us hear your voice, the number is 215-383-5863. Once you're connected and in, just press 1. And when I see your hand up in the studio, I'll open up your mic and you can share your comment. This subject is so important. I realized more and more as I heard about this documentary, Israelism. It's huge, 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 huge. Because what's happening is Jewish Americans are waking up to the truth about who they really are. And all the propaganda and all the news that has pointed them toward that little place over there called Israel in the Middle East, they're waking up to realize, that's not who they are. They're not connected to that. So this is such a huge, huge revelation for the world, as young people especially, and even older people are coming out and saying, that's not us, that's not me. So I want to share with you tonight, let me just check, we don't have any hands up in the studio yet, but I'm going to share with you what this Israelism is all about and how important it is in our world view of what's going on, moving us from new paradigms to new realities, to truths that we haven't talked about. And this documentary is all about the relationship that American Jews have had in the past, the present, and the future with Israel, that Zionist country over there. And it's huge because so many Jewish corporations are running the show in America. And the fact that they're waking up to a new sense of who their identity is huge for all of us. And it means that we embrace them in their awakening to, you're not the chosen ones, honey. There are lots of people who can call themselves the chosen one. So tonight we're asking the question, are you the chosen one? And I'm going to help you figure that out. I'm going to help you figure it out with some history and information that will make it clearer for you, make sense. It'll help you make sense of all this Israel chosen ones, and they're better than or superior than. We're going to clear up or make sense of all that. And this documentary does just that. So I'm going to play for you, first of all, a trailer of what this documentary is. Documentary, and see, so that we all are on the same page. It's a trailer that really points out the creative work of the people who put this all together. And that is what is waking up. The really interesting thing is that the war in Israel, the war in the Middle East, is part of the awakening for Jewish Americans. Jewish Americans have seen what's going on in Gaza, and they said, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here?" It was like a shock to them. It was really a shock, and they woke up. What they know now for sure. So let me play this. Let me see if this is right. So here's the first trailer information.
Some American Jews who come here say, we came to Israel and we left from Palestine.
The non-Jewish community does not understand our obsession with Israel.
I went to a Jewish day school,
summer camp, organized trips to Israel.
I want to go to Israel too! Israeli soldiers, they're hot, they're awesome, they're strong.
We actually have had quite a few of our former students join the idea. These are year-olds. Amazing.
I told my parents I don't even need to apply to college. I'm going to just join the Israeli military.
10% of my graduating class joined the Israeli army.
We were deployed to the West Bank.
I don't think I realized the extent to which what I would come to see on the ground would really shock me and horrify me.
When people look at the West Bank today and say, this is an apartheid system, it's not just throwing out a word.
Palestinians live in, day out, without experiencing a day of freedom.
You see what non-democracy looks like.
What we've been told is that the only way that Jews can be safe is if Palestinians are not safe. The more I learned about that, the more I came to see that as a lie.
Within the Jewish community, there's been a striking change.
They're really angry at the way they were indoctrinated, justifiably so.
When we talk about we're losing the kids, we lost them. I think they're a little super naive.
Anytime you try to gauge the grade, you're going to catch hell.
You are a self-loathing Jew. Go kill yourself, an anti-Semitic Jew.
Protecting Israel. How dangerous is that?
They will do anything to preserve unconditional support for Israel.
The great irony is that there actually is resurgent anti-Semitism. History is not going to judge us kindly.
Okay, so that was one trailer, and I think I had the videos and audios mixed up. But as you could see, the young people who grew up in Orthodox Israel Jewish families had their trip to Israel. They witnessed the brutality. They witnessed the murdering. They witnessed the destruction of a community in the Middle East. And they woke up with big eyes saying, what the heck is going on here? Because it's so horrible. If you've watched any of the YouTubes about what's going on in Gaza, and the Jewish community in America, they're divided now. They're truly divided on what is their loyalty going to be toward? Is it going to be continuing as they were brainwashed in the past? Or are they going to wake up, stand up, and speak the truth about what is really going on in Israel and what's going on? And my guest, who I had planned tonight, was born in Israel, and he happens to be a Black man born in Israel who has such a unique perspective that he's going to be on maybe in a couple of weeks. But he's a physician, he's a teacher, he's a rabbi, he does all these things, and he couldn't be on tonight. At the last minute, we talked, and it's like, well, let's just reschedule. But I thought about how important this topic is, because we have not really understood what the word Israel really means. We have assumed a lot by the media, by the culture that calls themselves Jews. And tonight we want to go deep and figure out the root of this word Israel and who is really Israel. You might be surprised who the real Israel. And I'm not talking about a community of brown-skinned people who say they're the original Jews and all that. We're talking spiritual here, because this is soul purpose healing. Everything we learned as children in kindergarten or Sunday school, the Creator is now bringing us to a level of education, a level of awareness, a level of consciousness that can help us grow and evolve in ways we never expected or never knew. And that's why we call it Making Sense Out of Israelism, a new documentary that is really just giving American Jews a platform to speak the truth about what they were brainwashed and what has dominated their thoughts and their culture and so much more. But tonight we're going to go into the meaning of that word, because last 3 months, since the war heated up, let's just say heated up in the Middle East, we have been bombarded with propaganda that has tried to teach us a lie. Basically, we've been told a lie. And I wanted tonight just share some of the truth about just the Hebrew meaning of that word. And I found this great, what does the word Israel really mean, by a guy by the name of Lou White. Lou White wrote a book years ago that I read that was so enlightening that is where I want to dig deep into what does the word Israel mean. And it's not very long. And we're going to just come out of this teaching with an identity of who we really are from the word Israel. It's going to share with us, with the world even, who really is Israel. And these American Jews are just leading the journey into a truth that has not been spoken of much in our society. So I want to put on the video and the audio, because what Lou White does is gives you some Hebrew background and gives a little lesson on the word itself, so that we can clearly see what is meant by that word. And there's so much historical context to that word that we're going to see from the beginning of time what is really meant by the word Israel and who we are in that word and that word in us. So this is Lou White's giving the definition of the meaning of that word.
Hello, friends. Welcome back. What does the word Israel really mean? The Hebrew spelling of the new name given to Yaqub, they call Jacob, is 5 letters. It's Yod, Shin, Resh, Aleph, Lamed. And in Latin letters, it would be generated as YSH Now, it's simplified that way as YSHRAL. That's the literal letters in Hebrew. The first letter is a yod, and it's a prefix. Now, to understand what a prefix is, let's carry on here. It means to or toward. And it's joined with a root, shar, and that's just two letters. It's S-H-R or S-H-A-R, and it means prince. You've heard of Shar Shalom, the Prince of Peace. And it means ruler, shar. That's the root. See, the word is built around a root. There's a prefix, the root, and then there's a suffix. Let's talk about those things. The suffix is simply two letters, aleph, lamed, and it means all, which is defined as lofty one, referring to our Allah, Yahuwah. Most of the time people see it spelled El, Eli. It's really Ali. It's an A, it's not an E. Otherwise it would be Ayin Lamed. It's Aleph Lamed, the same letter that Abraham's name starts with, or Adam. So we've got the suffix that means basically what people understand as the creator. It's not a name, though. It's more of a title or a pronoun. Words are built using roots, often accompanied by modifying affixes called suffixes and prefixes. Or if, from your point of view, if we're reading from left to right, it would be a prefix and a suffix at the end, so the root is in the middle. Hebrew is actually written in reverse. It's written from right to left. So that's a little confusing for people when they first see the real writing. The meaning of the word Israel is often confused because teachers mistake or misidentify the word roots. They misidentify the root word. For transliterating this name, we should prefer Yisrael and not Yasharal. Yasher, or Y-S-H-E-R, is a root, meaning upright, straight, or smooth. We can miss the meaning or mix the roots if we're not careful. Yisrael means to rule with Elohim. To rule with Elohim. It refers to more than only the tribe of Yehuda, because Jacob, or Jacob, he was the father of all the tribes, not just the Jews or Yehuda. A lot of times people get that confused also. It includes the offspring of Jacob and those who join to Yahuwah through the covenant, having the sign of the Shabbat or having the sign of the Sabbath. Thanks for watching. And you might want to rewatch this because it's a little technical, but I think you're going to pick up the real meaning once you understand the letters of the name. Talk to you later.
Okay, so that was a guy by the name of Lou White. He wrote a really good book years ago that I read, and it was just full of so much information about Hebrew and the culture and all that. But I hope you got what the meaning of the word Yisrael is: to rule with Elohim, which is the plural form of God or Yahweh, joined through Yahuwah, and he mentions the Sabbath. Now, if you know any Jewish families, friends, they love to pride themselves that they keep the Sabbath. But then you've had Seventh-day Adventists, and you've had Hebrew Israelites, and we've had many cultures who, quote, keep the Sabbath. And so what Lou White is suggesting for us, teaching us, is that the word Yisrael identifies a person who keeps the Sabbath and who rules with Al-Hahim, or rules with the Creator. This was so enlightening for me to remember my journey in the Sunday school atmosphere, and then other religious atmospheres, and then Hebrew Israelite atmosphere, and a few Jewish relationships, and then finally realizing that my Sabbath is every day. Because the word Sabbath means to rest. And you have a whole culture of people and religions who use the Sabbath to identify who they are. And that's what Lou is suggesting, that we have cultures. And in fact, when I went to Israel, I went to Israel about 15 years ago when my former husband was working there with Delta Airlines. He was a mechanic. So he was there for he was actually there for 2 weeks. So I run over there right after him. I got bumped off a plane. I finally went through Paris, and I got to Tel Aviv right at the end of a Friday, where the whole Tel Aviv, Israel, was shutting down for the Sabbath. Okay. So when you go to Israel, the whole city shuts down. Nothing's open. You can't eat. You have to, they prepare for the Sabbath by closing everything down. And if you're going to eat, should have had it before the sundown Friday. And then all of Shabbat or Saturday, everyone's resting, not eating. And then Saturday evening, everything opens back up. When the sun goes down Saturday, everybody comes out, and people are eating after sundown, and people are up late at night for Saturday because Sabbath is over. And so my journey has been one of coming into a daily Sabbath. And I used to attend a congregation. We worshiped on the Sabbath. We sung all day. I've been to Seventh-day Adventist congregations where it was an all-day thing on Saturday. I mean, you go in the morning, you go take a break, come back, and you're there all day. And then in Jewish congregations, Chabad organizations, Sabbath is like an all-day thing. And then all the holidays are kept. And then in the Hebrew Israelite community, all day Shabbat, even starting Friday evening, you're studying what? The Torah, of course, which is the Torah, the Bible, the New Testament, so to speak, the first part of the Bible, right? So as I've journeyed in this soul purpose healing, and that's what I want all of us to talk about tonight, is where are you on your soul purpose here? Why are you here? What are you here for? Are you here to rule with Al-Hahim, rule with Creator, rule with Yahweh? Or are you just traveling through and doing what you want to do? And are you joined through the Creator's energy, the Creator's love, the Creator's mind, even taking on the mind of Yahushua? Why are we here? This is how we make sense of Israelism. Israel is this documentary that has taken American Jews to a whole new consciousness. It's like so amazing to me that American Jews, for the most part, and mostly young people, Jewish Voices for Peace, they became totally conscious about what's going on in that little country over there called Israel, instead of being more aware of the journey that we've all been on, to come to know who we are as Israelites. And again, the definition being that of ruling with, not against, the Al-Haim or the Creator's energy, the collective body of spiritual angels ministering, ruling, having a sense of leadership, having a sense of authority, if you will, on this planet, and not being moved around and moved around in a way that you're lost, confused, and don't know what's happening. And that's where a lot of Jewish Americans have been, just being pushed around by the wind. You need to go to Israel. You need to be there and protect the country. You need to do this. But they are awakening to the Zionist government that has dehumanized Palestinians. So this is like our introduction to making sense of why they made this documentary called Israelism. And then we're going to talk a little later about refugees, what the creation, because of what they saw as horrific and terrible. And now the consequences, we have refugees all over this earth, even not just from Israel, but from every war-torn country. We have refugees created, migrants created, and many of our receivers of refugees and migrants, they don't know what to do with them. But I found a country in Italy that has having an easy time, and they welcoming the refugees. There's no struggle. And I'm like, how is it that we in America are struggling with this, and then somewhere in Italy they're loving it, they're opening their arms? Well, you're gonna see why it's so easy for a country in Israel or a city in Italy to have plenty of room for refugees. Why do whether it's Congo or the Middle East, people leaving because of war? Okay, so I have, I think, let's see, Naima Latif, my executive producer, and she's going to play commercials. I'm not sure. Let's see, studio phone. I'm not sure what phone number she's on. Let's see, maybe it's this one. 347-498. Your mic is up.
I think that's it.
That's you?
Yeah.
Okay. So Naima Latif.
All right.
All right. So I'm gonna let her play a commercial.
And you have a caller after the break.
Okay, great. Thank you, Naima.
Yeah, 773-482. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna hear a commercial break from our executive producer of the Female Solution.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
Oh man, God sent the monthly sun bill today. This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
And thank you, Naima. And we have a caller that we're going to open their mic in the Female Solution Studio to give us a comment or a word. And then I'm going to read these very interesting comments in Facebook. Go ahead, Naima.
773-483, your mic is open.
Hello, this is Kofi.
Hey, Kofi, how are you?
My daughter Heather just showed me her first tattoo. Inner spirit symbol. So I'm happy about that. But to chime in on, we're under a global exodus. Everybody wants to move around, which is that's just been like that for centuries. But the issue that the governments are having, even in America, all the states are coming together saying these people are coming here illegally. Now, if I go to Africa, I got to get a visa. If I go to China, I got to get a visa. And this is really the issue, leaving religious control, freedom, economic opportunities. So I want you to discuss the issue of legal invasion or legal visitation versus non-legal invasion. And do you think that is really the core of the issue that we're having here in the state and abroad as well?
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Did I hear you? Okay, you're talking about an invasion. We've been in a global invasion. Is he still there?
Yeah, yes. I don't like to call it an invasion. It's an invasion when it's illegal.
Okay.
But we should establish, those laws are established where, I mean, these people coming to America is fine, but no ID, no fingerprinting. 5 migrants to beat up a police officer in New York. Now they're arresting all of them. And so the problem is when you come illegally, non-identified. I just got one of my neighbors rang my doorbell asking to shovel out snow and asking for money, and they're doing it all over. This is scary. So I'm not saying it's globally, yes, because it's going on everywhere. China is moving to Africa, and Africans are coming here, and even African black people are moving to Africa. They're moving to Russia. They're moving all over, but they have government legal status where you have to fill out those legal forms to enter so we know who you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't want to just let anyone come here with backgrounds and checks. You see on the internet now, everybody's like preaching peace. We need peace because we're seeing strangers everywhere.
Okay, so tonight, Kufi, tonight we're not going to solve the migrant problem in America tonight. We really want to just talk about why there's a move by American Jews to disconnect from the Zionists. This is huge for them because we can join with them in celebrating this disconnection from the murderous, egotistical, psychopathic Zionists. That's what they're doing. And then as a result of all the war that we're seeing, they've created migrant refugee situations. So we want to make sense of why is, on a spiritual level especially, why is all this taking place? What's the divine purpose for all of this action? American Jews who grew up in an Orthodox family, loving Israel, promoting Israel, defending Israel, and now they're like, man, wait a minute, this ain't what's happening. When they saw how horrific the treatment was of Palestinians, that's what woke them up. It took the visual presentation and murder and suffering in their lives to wake them up to the reality that those Zionists are not us. That's not who I want to be. It's not who I identify with.
What's the playing field that they're on? It's called Gaza, right?
Right. Well, that's one playing field. There's more than one, though.
Okay. Well, Gaza was an ancient empire. Even in Egypt, they built a bridge for the water. Ethiopia is fighting, you cut off all water. So they have massive issues that you and I really don't know.
Right.
And they'll just blame it on past issues, but there's other underlying things. People are trying to get access to more. These colonizers, these Zionists, they want to hold them down, make them submissive, bring some type of order, and say, no, we are running the country. You need to stay in your place. And everybody wants more. You cut your water off and everything else. So it's people seeking better opportunities, but the bottom line is seeking better treatment.
Right.
Okay? And I think that's what's really going on, getting away from identities, seeking some type of freedom, seeking some type of self-preservation, feeling like you can control your lives. And we all are going through that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we are coming together. This is the whole purpose of the show tonight, realizing how united we are in this struggle as we are questioning everything we've learned as children, as young adults. This is the time to question. Many of us are seeing for the first time the horror of Gaza and Palestine, and how the Zionists are trying to rule in that land and take over. In fact, I had a video I watched why Israel is planning to annex Gaza to to Tel Aviv and and run a canal through there. There's been so much planning to destroy the Palestinian people, their land, and all that, so that the Zionists can have access to that land. But the American Jewish community, conscious spiritual communities, we're all waking up to question. That's all we're doing right now, Kufi, is we have to start questioning and not accepting everything we learned when we were children. This is the big consciousness rising right now, is we are starting to question everything we learned and start coming together as a human family who doesn't want the war anymore. Because what is the war is creating refugees, whether it's Venezuelans coming from South America, or Congo residents coming from Africa, going to Italy or wherever. We are tired of the wars, and this is why we're doing this conversation now. We want to start questioning war and questioning why we have refugees and questioning everything.
There has been new leadership and old leadership.
Yes.
Okay. The Word of God says, when the leaders are wicked, the people mourn. When
Yes.
you have righteous leaders, the people praise.
Right.
So we've noticed a new leadership, a
Yes.
new regime coming in, keeping this old, dusty way of life, and people are recognizing that.
Yes.
They're recognizing that. So I understand that, and it's like we all have kind of a mutual connection to that. Where at the end of the day, I tell myself, I'm not to blame, but maybe I can be a solution. But I'm not to blame of it. I didn't cause it. Okay.
Right.
And
We're not
I
blaming.
can only be a voice. I can only be a voice of reason. You know what I mean?
Right. Of course.
But I'm not to blame. Who's to blame? Who's to blame for this? Who's to blame? Ideologies, religious control, pressures being called just a wherever they call themselves. It's all coming to a head now.
Yes.
And I believe, even Biden is getting ready to join this war. They got troops ready. This war is all over the world. And the whole citizens of America, even the politicians are saying, stop shooting. Right?
Right.
Stop shooting, and let's talk it out.
Yes.
Let's bring up new leaders and talk it out. We don't need killing children. We don't need all these massive killings, because it's only putting blood on people's hands to continue this degradation in the future. So that's my thought of it. And
Thank you, Kufi. And that's what we're here. We're here to share our thoughts about all this Israelism documentary that is questioning. American Jews are questioning their relationship with the Zionists and questioning whether it's anti-Semitic to disagree with the Zionists, questioning, do they need to defend Israel at every turn, questioning. That's what we all, and we can join our American Jewish brothers and sisters and say, yes, we agree. No, we don't need any division in this area any longer. We are ready, if we are consciously aware that this is a good thing. This war has brought about a rise in consciousness in the people that can really make a difference in changing the minds of Americans. Now, I want to read some comments here before I go to the next caller here. Thank you, Kufi, for those thoughts, because you, along with many other people, especially in the Chicago area, are really questioning what the hell is going on with all these migrants and how come nobody planned for this? How come we didn't figure out how much room we were going to, if we were going to have enough room? Well, because as Kufi brought out, our leadership is totally psychopathic, insane, out of their minds, in my opinion. They're not thinking through anything. All they're thinking about is money and ego and so much more. But let me read some of the comments here on Facebook. Good evening. Naima Latif says, good evening. Isn't it interesting that the real meanings of these words are never connected to anything about war or domination? Absolutely. If we look at the root of words, the etymology of words, that's when we can begin to question what people are pushing as their propaganda for, quote, like Israel. That's why this documentary, Israelism, is such a great name, because it should help motivate us to question everything we've learned up until now. Now, Craig is going into the language part of it, and I'm going to read this and then just give my own summary of this. He says, I'm going to disagree with the man breaking down the root of the word, Israel. Arabic being Hebrew's sister. Arabic being Hebrew sister. I think I got that. Arabic being Hebrew. He's going to break down the Arabic word, I guess. I'm going to may clarify that. The first letter of Yisrael. He's right. Yisrael. It's not Israel. It's in Hebrew. It's Yisrael. So it's the first letter is a Yud or Yah. Second letter is Sin. This is Arabic. And lastly is Ra with Il being the suffix meaning, which is a masculine pronoun meaning him, he. Isra is in the Arabic is a word used to describe a vessel. Second, it is a chapter of the Quran meaning night journey, but it also means one who mugs. Now that is really interesting. I don't speak Arabic, but I've studied Hebrew. And so when we're looking at the word Yisrael, that's a Hebrew word, but Craig has knowledge of even the Arabic meaning if you look at it in the Arabic. So this is something that we could go further into. But I'm going to keep going because I know that with Hebrew, what I have come to study, if you know the meaning of each letter, every 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet has a meaning. And the way you define a word in Hebrew is you look at the meaning of each letter, bring it together, and it'll help you understand the meaning of that word. So Craig also says Naima can confirm this being a chapter of the Quran, Al-Isra, or the night journey. He says, pardon, using the dark to move. Okay, so I love that, Craig. Thank you, Craig, for suggesting that even the Hebrew meaning of that word, you can go deeper into Arabic. But it certainly doesn't mean you're the chosen ones and you get to kill everybody in your neighborhood. That's for sure. This is what the documentary Israelism is about, wakening up to who are the Israelites and what is their journey in this documentary from Orthodox family and being brainwashed totally. They're waking up to like, we got to redefine everything. So Craig brings in, we could redefine this in Arabic. We could also look at just the word itself. But my teaching and understanding from a Hebrew perspective is that Yisrael, El is the word for God in Hebrew. El stands for God or Yahweh in the understanding English translation. So Yisrael, as he broke it down, is if you have to, when you would have to use El meaning creator or God or Yahweh, Yisrael could mean to rule with God or joined through Yahuwah. Either way, it's about unity with the creator, not division. So when we talk about who is Israel, you are. If you're in unity with the creator, if you are joined with Yahuwah in your journey and your purpose, this is soul purpose heal. You're on a journey to be one with the creator, to be joined, to rule over this area, your nation, your land, your family. You are Israel. That's my point tonight is these American Jews are just the beginning of the redefining of who everybody is, who every soul is when they come into the consciousness that they are ruling with Creator. And Empress Regina says, behold, to behold, beautiful ones. Yes, again, we're going to be redefining Israel in so many ways. Craig has given us a more Arabic definition. Empress, behold, to behold, beautiful ones. If you are ruling with Al-Haim, that means wholeness. Thank you, my Queen Empress. That's a beautiful way to look at it, to be whole. Ruling with the creator is a consciousness thing. It's a mind thing. And it's a being thing inside of it. It's an internal understanding. Who am I inside here? I'm a ruler. I'm ruling over my stomach, my pancreas, all the organs in here are part of the kingdom, and I'm ruling over it. And who put this kingdom together? Creator, Yahweh, God, Elohim, however you want to call the energy of love that put this temple of love together. And then Craig says Arabic problems, Mishakir, Hebrew problems, Mushigana sisters, Mushigana. I know that word. And then okay, so Zelda says, "Grand evening, great goddess. Behold, honored to be in the class." So Zelda's had a journey as well in the Hebrew experience. So she might want to share some things that she's learned in understanding who Israel is, because we walked through our young life being, quote, Hebrew Israelites because we were serious students of Hebrew, the language, the lifestyle, the culture. And now at my age, I realize so much more about the Sabbath. As I said, Sabbath is a daily thing for me. I'm in peace. I'm in rest with the Creator, ruling over my temple body. This is the key for us tonight to see. In the word Yisrael is a rulership, a unity, as we're all talking about here, a unity, a rulership, a joining together with Creator. And the kingdom is inside of us, the tongue, starting from the tongue, all the organs. This is all a kingdom in here. Are you ruling over your kingdom, or is someone else ruling over this kingdom? Then you are not Israel. If someone else is ruling over you and your king, your body, your mind, and making decisions for you in a way that, you shouldn't be like the American Jews. You should be loyal to the Israel government, the Zionists. They're not Israel. They're not even Israel. And they're waking up to that reality. They are not Israel if they're following those Zionists over there. So we've got another caller here. Please raise your hand, press 1 if you have a comment, if you want to bring in your own definition of Israel, because it is a vast and diverse way to identify who we really are. Israel encompasses who all of us are if we have the consciousness to define ourselves in the way that we are ruling over a kingdom. And that's the way I'm seeing it. And you might differ with that. So let me go to the mic or the phone, 706-202. This is Brother Kwame Sunhorse. Your mic is open.
Good evening, Sister Viata, and good evening, my brother Craig, and to all the Soul Purpose Healing family.
Good
and
evening.
Kofi also.
Grand evening. Thank you.
Yeah, and I came in late now because I was on another show and they were talking about Black history, and this is the charge. Everybody thinks that this is a great time to talk about who we are in the world. The part that I'm hearing, and you saying you watched the documentary on Israelism.
No, I haven't watched it. I played the trailer. I played the trailer at the beginning so people could get an idea who made it, how it was made, and what it's about. But I have yet to watch it because it's not available everywhere yet. But yeah, I saw the trailer. And in fact, on Democracy Now!, that's where I got most of the information about the documentary, because if you've watched Democracy Now!, she interviewed the director, producer, writer of the show, and some of the people who are in the documentary.
Right. And, the thing that we have to look at when we look at language and we look at words, as it says in 1 John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word was God, and the Word was with God. And the part that we're looking at and understanding words is words have power.
Yes.
And anytime you see words with ISM on it, you have racism, sexism, alcoholism.
Yes.
Whatever the ism is on the word, it demeans, in my own interpretation, is the ill sick mind. Because whatever they put that at the end of, it's to create an ill sick mind.
Right.
And and Israel is creating an ill sick mind because, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said to us a long time ago, Semitic only means half black, half white. So what you're looking at is a people that have defined themselves as to be the quote unquote chosen ones, because they say that they're the chosen. Is God doesn't have to make choices because he created everything. So where do you get this narcissistic thinking to say that you are a special being that has to have certain things that only you, as this quote unquote allegiance to religion, have to be granted this? This is not the same thing, because, you know, I always tell people the sun comes up from the east every morning, every new day. The sun rises. It does not pick out, it's only going to shine on Israel. It's only going to shine on Turtle Island. It's only going, no, it shines on all of it, because the thing of it is that's the Creator's divine love. That's the Creator's divine love, that he brings light to all that he has created so it can be seen. And we turn as this world turns, and then comes the night. So one follows the other. And this is the part that we're having is that how do you, as a human being, as male, in saying that you are God, or you have been chosen to do and take life? Because when you go back to the Bible, Eve was to deal with birth pains. That means that she has to have a cycle that she spills life blood from her body every 28 days. Man didn't have that ability. So what did Cain do to his brother Abel? He spilled his blood, because that's war. Man spills blood because he doesn't create life. He destroys life. Man creates war in order to take life. Revenge is mine, says, in that Helios book, says, revenge is mine, said the Lord, and in his commandments it says that you should not kill. What gives you the right to, because you're an Israeli, you want to kill a Palestinian, or you are a white person, you want to kill a black person, or you're a Chinese and you want to kill a Japanese? You don't have that right, because you did not have the power to create life. You are part of the life existence of the Creator. Man is out of order.
Thank you. And you thank you for reminding us of the ism that is defined as an ill-sick mind, which is the point that the creators of this documentary are making, that there has been an ill-sick mind in their own upbringing. They have come to realize, these American Jews have come to realize in their own upbringing, they have been part of an ill-sick mind. This is the whole point of the guy who put this together, to say this has been a sickness, basically. And let me play another trailer. It's a little shorter than the other one. Just another trailer that demonstrates the creativity. I'd like to say creativity in this documentary, to share the personal journey of people who were brainwashed, and they finally woke up to the brainwashing because of all the suffering that they saw in Gaza. This is reminding me that everything is not good, bad, wrong, right, when it brings us to a new awakening and changes our mind as to what we need to look at differently. And that's what this documentary is going to do for probably many people, is to help us see and question everything that we've ever learned.
The non-Jewish community does not understand our obsession with Israel.
Israel is Judaism, and Judaism is Israel.
10% of my Jewish high school joined the Israeli army.
The first time I've been to the United States, Jewish Americans will tell me things like, we like you, but we don't like Palestinians. Even though I'm the only Palestinian they know. But then you come to realize that they know nothing about Palestine and Palestinians, or have no idea about what Palestinians are going through.
when you go there, you see what non-democracy looks like up close.
What we've been told is the only way that Jews can be safe is if Palestinians are not safe. The more I learned about that, the more I came to see that as a lie.
They're really angry at the way that they were indoctrinated, and justifiably so.
They don't want to see the cycle of hate perpetrated even by Jews themselves.
There is an emerging awakening within the American Jewish community.
Human will can change things.
And so I want everybody to try and see this documentary, because then you can have a conversation with your Jewish friends who are not awake, because our government is full of Zionists. In fact, I just wish we could just wipe out all the DC senators and Congress. They just approved, or let me just put it this way: this new guy in the show of crazy or warmongers, Johnson, has put something on the table in the way of $100 billion, some crazy $1 billion, to give money to Ukraine and to give money to Israel for whatever purpose, and then a little money for the border. You know, they got this. They always put together this psychopathic warmongering government we have. They put together a little package. They can give some crumbs for the border problem, but we're going to give a lot of money to Israel and Ukraine and continue the genocide. Our government is so complicit in this, so full of blood on their hands, that it's almost scary, but it's an awakening for us too, to realize we need to wipe them all out. Anybody up in Washington voting for this crazy bill, more money to Israel. These are the Zionists that the documentary is talking about, woke them up to the reality that something needs to change. They're questioning everything. So Craig in Facebook says, massive shout to Kwame and Putu Wi Sonka Wakan. Okay, that's some language that I'm not familiar with, aka Kwame Sunhorse. Thank you, Craig. And he says, son on Petu Wi Horse Shunka Wakan. Great. I love it. Sounds beautiful. Sounds musical. So we're talking tonight about the deception that's coming out of this documentary, and then the refugee problem that this whole war situation, war-mindedness. See, these people are so ready in government. I'm talking about the people the leaders running our governments all over the world. They're so ready to drop bombs everywhere, and then not even planning for migrants moving into other areas that don't even have room for them. So I found this beautiful, I'm not sure, Naeem, I don't know if you wanted to, if you want to take a commercial break, press 1 and I'll open up your mic. Okay, we got another caller. Let me take this other caller before I go to this. I found a city in Italy that was like a utopia for refugees. And it's just such a great example of how you place refugees. It's like, as long as we've got people dropping bombs, moving people out to create a river or whatever, a canal, there's a lack of planning, a lack of awareness as to what are we going to do with these people? How are we going to, because we got a mess in Chicago, in New York, and and some other cities. And then let's not even talk about the Texas border. There's just so much going on that needs to be restudied, rethought. But let me go to the phones. We've got a caller, 267-249. Your mic is open.
Hey, shalom. How everybody doing tonight? This is Prince Israel.
Prince Israel.
Hello, everyone. Shalom, sis.
Thank you, Prince. Nice to have you here.
Yes. Nice to be here. Nice to be in the land of living.
Yes.
Nice to have Most High's blessings with us. I'm listening to the call tonight, but the reason why I asked be heard is because I wanted to address that issue that brother, the last speaker, was speaking on about a chosen people and what gives us the right and all of those things that sets us apart from everybody else in the earth. But then as he went further in his conversation, he mentioned those people in the land of Israel, speaking about the Europeans. And I'm not sure if he understands that those people are the imposters and not the original people. They hold on to the title of Israel, but they're not the biblical children of Israel. I didn't know if he understood that. So I just wanted to clarify that. And as far as us having to verify that we are the chosen people, we don't have to. They already did. Every nation on the earth oppresses us. Why? Everybody oppresses us. What is the reason why they do that? And it's beyond just the color of our skin. That's just an identifier to own into the person. But the reason why we have been chosen by the Creator is because of who we are and what possesses us to live, meaning our soul, the essence that we obtain, that we have. It's not like anything else or anyone else on the planet. Although we all walk in the flesh, that's the physical portion. But that essence that's invisible is of the Most High Himself in a different magnitude than everyone else is. And that's what the book is all about. That's what the book explains. But that's where a lot of people with the carnal mind doesn't see and don't understand. We are set apart from all the nations on the earth. They tried to destroy the black people on the planet. Many years ago, they tried to destroy us. They took us through all types of beatdown, depression, starvation, castrations. Every nation has had the opportunity to destroy us, and we're still here. We're still thriving. Had that experience taken place with any other nation of people, it would be extinct right now. And that's according to the white man, the European man's history. He'll tell you that. He did the research, he studied, and he learned that, and he shared it with the rest of the world. They don't know how we're still here. It is nothing but the blessings of the Creator has got us here. So yeah, we different. We're very different. We are special, and we are sacred, and we're not like anyone else on this planet. So is my mic open?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
I'm gonna let Kwame respond to that. I don't think he meant that he wasn't saying the people in Israel were the chosen, but I'll let you respond to that, Kwame.
And he's correct. It's about those Europeans that have now identified themselves as that. And the part that I'm speaking of in that melanated, and he's speaking to, I believe, he's speaking to the melanated people of the belief system of Judaism that have been, persecuted on this planet. And there are many. There are not on this Turtle Island any of the people of once upon a time were nations here that are no longer in existence. So the persecution on this planet has been by design of certain chosen ones that think that they're chosen to be the destroyers of humans. And so what we've seen in our story of the existence of, these belief systems and these people that believe in this system have seen, but we have people that before any colonizer came onto their land were living in balance and harmony with nature and the Creator and provided for very well that they existed until you had these invaders. So we have to look at the timeline of our existence and see where did these atrocities begin. Where were the people that said that they have the right to be this specific being over other human beings? Because that's why I gave the example. The sun comes up and shines on everything on the planet. God does not make a choice.
He does.
Does not make a with the sun. I'm giving the sunlight. I'm giving the example of the sun.
Now we're on the same page, brother. We're on the same page.
Okay.
But the Creator does make a choice, and this is the choice that He's made. The Europeans have to hide from the sun. The sun will give them cancer. It will kill them. So it's just a distinction. When you speak, I understand that we're speaking the same language. But it appeared as if he didn't fully understand. Like when you just said about the indigenous people here, we are the indigenous people here to these Americas. And we lived in peace way before the Europeans came over here. That part I totally agree with you, but I don't know if you understand that we were the indigenous people here, not just in Africa, but here as well.
Right, I'm very much in alignment, and I thank you. I'm very much in alignment with what you're saying, because I say that we should not be saying Black, African American. We're indigenous Turtle Islanders. Indigenous Turtle Islanders, because there were nations here, whole civilizations existed on this just Turtle Island before any European came out of a cave. So yes, we're in total agreement, but it's the invasion and the narcissistic lack that these people have of seeing ones who have been gifted, and they don't know how to perceive their own ability to create their own. That's the challenge.
Yes. Well, the only way that we can combat that is that we have to unite and come together and work together to help each other. If we do that, then no matter what they do, they can't stop us. They can't slow us down. They can't get in the way. The problem is we have too much hatred for ourselves. Once that change, we don't have any enemy, because nobody could stand against us.
You're correct. And if there's no enemy within, your enemy outside of you can't harm you. This is why it has been already evaluated that it's been by menticide. This is why I said the ism. It's the ism that puts on the word race. When you put ism on it, it's the ill-sick minds that think they are a better race than the other one. It's only one human beings on the planet. The concept of all of this language has been created in order to dominate one over the other. And these are the lesser of the melanated, because there are more people of color on the planet than there are of not color. And this is their fear, because they're just what they call a recessive gene. They're just a defective African.
So this is true.
I
tell you what, may I?
Go ahead.
I tell you, my apologies, sis. I tell you what, though, you got to give them credit, man. They got a lot of pride in themselves, and they stick together, and they do what they got to do as a family, no matter what their differences are. And if we can get past that level, we'll be excellent in this earth. Those are the type of things we need to achieve within our own people. So, our problems, they lie deep. But people like yourself, we need to put our minds together and put forth effort, put in the work to make these things happen, where change can come in this lifetime for our generation right now and spew into the future.
And this is why I'm sharing with you, brother, and I thank you for chiming in, because each one teach one. We have the knowledge. What we have to do is share it and stop being generational thieves. Yes, we will be miseducated, but now we have learned that in Deuce Parade, we're bringing out the greatness that we were born with within us. That's why I say that there is no enemy within you. Once you learn where the enemy is, the enemy has to first get in, and if it festers and grows in you, then you're your own worst problem.
And
I totally agree.
And by the way, Prince, your land might be close to Kwame's land. Who both of you are? Where again is your land that you're developing, Prince Israel?
We're in Sparta, Georgia, on Beulah Highway.
You're right close, because I'm in Eatonton. I'm on Lake
Oh, yeah.
Sinclair.
Yeah, it's not too far. Yeah.
Right. I know when you said Spartanburg, I know because Greenwood, Spartanburg, you got Sanderwood. What is it? Sandersville.
Yeah.
Sandersville is where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was born. Eatonton is where Alice Walker was born.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I drive through Eatonville all the time. Eatonton. I drive through Eatonton all the time. So it's a pleasure meeting you, my brother.
Yeah, hopefully you guys.
Thank you, and you also.
Yeah.
Everything is in divine order. And, there's a reason for this because that is something you're economically stable when you say it, my land. That gives you the foundation of your economic wealth. That's what they did, the whole part of what they've been doing and invading, taking other folks' land. The basis of all economics start with land.
It's true.
And that's I think Prince Israel and that community is living the true meaning of the word Israel, because they are ruling over not just the land, earth land, but over their own bodies, having the mental wellness, healthy minds, healthy bodies, healthy land, ruling with the Most High in this earth to bring about what? To bring about glory for the Most High, to bring about a beautiful representation on Gaia, on Mother Earth, that shows who we are as a people. And if everyone comes together with that mind, then that to me is Israel. But we've got so much division of what that should look like. But Prince Israel is developing a community that is Israel in the flesh, in the mind, in the spirit, in every way. And I'm glad that you.
And that's the key.
Go ahead.
The key word is spirit, because it's spirit, mind, body. You have to unify. You have to be. That's where the connection with the Creator. That's where he's speaking about the chosen. When you understand you're spiritually connected to the Creator, then you put it into the mind that helps the body to do what is necessary on the body of what we call planet Earth or Mother Earth.
Hallelujah.
We're out of order. That's the order.
Yes. And so again, the Israelism documentary is just a beginning of a people waking up that have had the ill sick mind, thinking they were the chosen ones, thinking we can kill Gazans, we can kill anybody we want because we're the chosen ones. But this documentary is the beginning of the consciousness coming out of that ill sick mind. So that's why we're talking about that tonight. And then I want to go into refugees, because if you have people, for instance, who wanted to come to Prince's land, they couldn't come if they didn't have the same mind and spirit that community has. But you've got people in Italy, for instance, that I found. I want to play it before the show is over. That were welcomed into a community from, I think it was from Congo. It was from actually, these refugees in Italy are from all over Europe, and they were welcomed into this community because the community had basically died out, and they had empty buildings everywhere. And so the sane minds in that community in Italy decided, let's just welcome these refugees, put them in these empty houses, and then have them, offer them jobs, and and it's just amazing. It's like a utopia of some sort. But we've got to go to a break. And before we go, Prince, give the name of your YouTube channel where you have a service every Friday or every Saturday.
It's called Beulah Land, BEULAHLAND, Beulah Land, at Temple, TEMPLE, Kefarim, KEFARYM. Beulah Land at Temple, Kefarim. We got a school for the children. We're building a hospital. Well, they tell me not to call it a hospital. They told me to call it a medical center, medical institute. So we're building a medical institute. We have our own cemetery that we're putting together. We're doing a lot down there. takes time and it takes money. So, we're doing the best we can with what we got to work with.
Thank you. And I encourage those who are interested in learning more about Beulah Land to visit them on YouTube on Saturday, and then learn some new things, learn how to come together in unity and teach. And they teach about the Torah and so much more. It's a beautiful time to come together and learn new things, or meet new people and more. And then maybe eventually you'll be invited to the land. But as we're saying, you have to have the mind to rule with the Most High over your land, your body, and the land that the Most High gives you. So we've got to take a break. Let's see, Naima Latif, I'm going to open up your mic if you're still awake. I know we delayed it a little, and hear a few commercials. And then we'll be back. I want to really share about this community, how we can welcome refugees in the United States, where we don't have the problems that we're seeing in this country. It's just a shame. Well, actually, I won't say it's a shame. It's a great lesson on how not to welcome refugees into a country or an area that we're seeing in the United States. But we also know it's intentional. A lot of it is intentional to divide and conquer in the United States. There's so much going on politically, and so much going on in the cities that has been planned for years. We're finding out, to disrupt the American way, to bring in conflict, turmoil, and so much more. And so that's why we need to follow the guidance and the wisdom of Prince Yisrael's community and develop our own communities. And Kwame hasn't talked about the overground railroad, but we've talked about that so many times. In fact, while we're waiting for Naima, I'm going to open up Mama AZ. Your mic is open. I see you with your hand up. Did you have a comment you'd like to make?
I do. Can you? Oh, heck.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Greetings, family. Greetings, Brother Kwame and Brother Prince, Brother Kofi, Craig, everybody. Brother Prince is on point. I see it more and more and more now where I'm located. We don't love ourselves, meaning people of color, copper people, however you want to put it. We do not love ourselves. And the brother is correct. When Caucasian people roll, they don't care if somebody in the clan whack the head off or whatever. Most of the time, they still come back together and roll for the bigger picture and the greater advantage of what it means to stick together. I don't even think we will ever learn in this lifetime, how to be one with ourselves. And it's sad. It's just sad. And Brother Prince, roll on over there to Brother Kwame's campsite and partake in the Sweat Lodge. Thank us, Brother Kwame, for doing what you do for the planet. Thank us.
That would be very interesting to see or hear, that the Native American traditions blending with Beulah Land. Wow, I could just see that vision there.
Yes. Yes, yeah. I see it. I see it. So take a moment, Brother Prince, and roll on over there to Brother Kwame, because we're getting ancestor knocks at the door. And so let's just do this, because your people, your land, where you are, would greatly benefit even to learn how to put a sweat lodge up. I've been campaigning way before I met Brother Kwame for people who look like us to roll in the sweat lodge. I've been like this all of my life. My people come from Oklahoma. So, let's do that. Thank us.
So what do you think, Kwame?
Thank you.
Or what do you think, Prince? Is there room for Native American teachings in Beulah Land?
We are Native Americans. I said that in my speech, in my portion when I got the opportunity to speak. We were the indigenous peoples here in this country.
Right.
So sure, we can talk. We can see where we can meet and make things happen. Absolutely.
All right, that sounds exciting. Because that just opens the door to more wisdom. And when you say you're right, please don't call it a hospital. It sounds like you should just call it a health center or something like that, because hospitals have a bad name these days, and even the word medical. I know the type of medicine you all would be practicing, but just promoting health and well-being is the way we want to go, natural versus hospitals and medicine. That's the problem. The old paradigm is certainly chiropractic, energy. In fact, energy medicine is really the new paradigm that we all should be looking at versus medicine and hospitals. So thanks for correcting on that one, to bring us to a new paradigm of health and how to take care of ourselves. Because again, if we're masters over this body, then we're going to be practicing differently than what our parents and what people have been trying to teach us in the past. So that's how. So Naima, are you? I'm trying to just wait for Naima before I go to this next audio. I'm looking for Naima to play the next group of commercials. Let's see how migrants. Otherwise, I want to before we go, how migrants and refugees are being welcomed in this tiny village in Italy. It's just so I just think we can learn so much in this country about how to welcome migrants, refugees, because it's a problem. I think all of us agree we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. And part of it is our leaders have not planned well for the people who have to leave these war-torn regions. So here's a little clip about how Italy, this little town in Italy, did it.
It's a short 10-minute drive up the coast in Italy's southernmost region of Calabria to the hilltop town of Riace. At first glance, it seems typical of a town dating back to medieval times. There are narrow, winding streets and a 16th century church in the main square. Men pass the time, as they have for generations, playing cards. But there's something very atypical about Riace these days. While much of Europe is reacting warily to migrants and refugees from the Middle East, South Asia, and Africa, Riace welcomes them with a smile. Daniel Yaboa is originally from Ghana. I've known him for many years, this woman says. His children were born here. A familiar face here in Riace, Yaboa goes house to house collecting trash and recyclables along with his trusty donkey. He's been here 7.5 years. He says he was forced to flee death threats in Ghana after his wife converted for him from Islam to Christianity. You have a life here.
Yeah, of course, we have a life here. And the people here give us a chance to feel like home, Yeah, used to foreigners. Yeah, used to welcome everybody here. So I'm very happy, and I'm here now.
This couple, Yasmin and Shahid, arrived in Riace with their daughter in November. Yasmin says they fled Pakistan because her life was threatened by government officials. The family was bounced around migrant camps elsewhere in Europe for months until a knowing camp organizer got them transferred. Why did they move you to Riace?
They say it's a good place for the family. different. Nobody's calling us every day if you have to go back and this and that. We are enjoying to go to school with our children. Yes, we are thinking about our problems also, but yes, you can say we are free now.
More than just a handful of refugees live here. Of Riace's 1,800 residents, about 400, or 22%, are non-Italians from more than 20 different countries, a fact proudly displayed on welcome signs.
They are from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, Syria, every part of the world. Vengo da Syria. Vengo da Pakistan. Chiamo Mohammed, vengo da Somalia.
Hearing this next generation learning Italian, and their parents as well, is music to the ears of Riace's mayor since 2004, Domenico Lucano.
Over there is an Albanian family. Over there is a Pakistani family. There, an Afghan family. This is a tavern we brought back to life. We're all about renovation and giving back hope.
For Mayor Lucano, helping refugees settle here is not just the right thing to do, it's practical. What would the town be like without refugees right now?
Simply put, Riace would no longer exist.
That's because by the 1990s, this once thriving town of 2,500 people was becoming a ghost town, suffering the fate of so many small, old towns in Europe. Its population had dropped almost in half as young people moved away to find jobs in cities and left behind empty houses and shuttered businesses. The one public elementary school almost closed. Then, one day in 1998, fate sailed in.
A sailboat washed up on the beach of Riace. The people aboard were Kurds from Iraq and Turkey. For me and others, it was a sign.
Bahar Makar was among the 200 Kurdish refugees crammed on the boat, drifting across the Mediterranean Sea.
We ran out of food. We ran out of water. It was getting too hot. The boat was small, and at times we were taking on water. I slept for 3 days with water to my knees.
During their 8th night at sea, the boat washed up on the beach in Riace.
The Red Cross came immediately to help. People from the town, priests, everyone was running to help. I liked how when the sun came up, I saw the geography was like a second Kurdistan. I said, I'm not going anywhere. I want to stay here.
Makar has lived here ever since, becoming fluent in Italian, raising a family, and working in construction. That boatload of Kurdish refugees 18 years ago was also a eureka moment for Mayor Lucano. Rather than seeing them as a threat or a disruptor, he saw them as the town's future, an opportunity. Young refugees in search of better lives needed homes, and Riace had hundreds of empty ones to fill.
Even if you're here by yourself, you get your own house. Because this is the strategy that we launched from the beginning. The whole town is a migrant center.
Not only would refugees get their own homes to live in, Lucano started a program to transform other abandoned houses into all types of artistic workshops, giving refugees skills to help them independently earn a living. Migrants and refugees have also found work in the mayor's office and other municipal jobs. Of course, it takes money to make all this happen. The Italian national government subsidizes Riace and towns like it the equivalent of $30 a day for every refugee for 1 year. Riace uses the funds to renovate homes, help migrants start new businesses, and pay them a monthly stipend. The money also helps Riace rebuild itself. This ravine, for instance, had decayed into sand and dirt. Migrant and local labor is restoring it as a place for livestock and recreation. So where you see the donkeys over there, those donkeys are used to collect trash, specifically recycling garbage. You'll notice it's a pretty clean town. And below that, in each one of these little stables that are still under construction, you'll have more and more livestock. Over time, seeing results like this helped persuade skeptical townspeople that welcoming migrants is worth it. This woman says Riace has changed for the better. And this convenience store manager says he would not be open today if it weren't for all the purchases made by refugees. Including an influx of 1,000 refugees last year, the mayor estimates between 7,000 and 8,000 have come through Riace since the late 90s. Most have chosen to stay for only a short time, eventually heading to Northern Europe, where they may have friends or family or perceive better prospects. But the hundreds who have stayed for good find benefits and sympathy.
Riace is hosting a particular group of people, not people who come for economic reasons, because the locals from Riace are leaving for economic reasons. The people coming here are from parts of the world that are at war. When they say that migrants bring nothing but trouble,
Look what beautiful things she brings.
This woman, Adela, has a job as a weaver that pays about $800 a month. She says she fled Afghanistan after the Taliban killed her husband, a bookseller in Kabul. She and her daughter endured an 18-month journey by foot and by bus to a refugee camp in Greece, where Adela met a man who joined their journey. They're married now and have been in Riace since December, living in this comfortable apartment provided by the town.
I'm sorry for the people who come by sea, those who make it and those who don't. Whenever I see them on TV, I'm shocked. I always cry and ask God to help them all.
Despite the mayor's best efforts to accommodate migrants, sometimes he falls short. These men came from Nigeria with their wives and children. Lucky has been here since the fall of 2014. He has a 2-year residence permit.
This one is my residence.
A place to live, and a $200 a month stipend for each member of his family. But neither Lucky nor his friend Neosa
This is not my baby.
have been able to find steady work.
So the most problem we have here is a job. A family man cannot live with a wife and taking without no job.
But I have to work. That is the problem I'm crying for.
I asked the mayor what would happen to those Nigerian men.
With respect to all the migrants we welcome here, we don't have the resources to find work for every one of them. But what I can say is that no one has ever left because their temporary job came to an end. No one has left because the state has told us that these people need to leave. That's never happened.
Mayor Lucano says Riace will continue helping as many refugees as it can, and he hopes to inspire other European communities to open their arms too, to people like Adela and Bara Makar, people caught in modern conflicts who found refuge in a medieval town.
I feel like it's my hometown, truly. All my friends are here. Everyone in town knows me. I like it here.
I'm always looking ahead. Now I'm happy in Riace. Riace is tiny, but it has a big heart.
So, what can we learn from that one little town that has been able to make a difference in people's lives and house people escaping from other countries because of war or other reasons? I just think it's such a great example of what can be done when, and as long as we have war going on and cities are not prepared. Why in the world would you send all these migrants to cities that are overcrowded, that don't have the housing? And in all of the United States, there is so much land available to help people start off, even if it's with a tent on open land or just camping out. I'm at a loss to understand why our government is allowing this influx of refugees and not being more prepared. Well, part of the reason we know is that they want to disrupt the lifestyle of Americans. They want to cause division. And we don't know about the sleeper cells that are coming in and all the political decisions that are being made that are creating the mess that we have in this country. What if they just planned to have the open land, the empty buildings prepared for migrants and refugees? Anybody have any suggestions as to how any city at all can be better prepared to accept and process refugees or migrants? I have another example of the refugee migrant situation, only this is from China. I was really surprised at how far people are willing to travel to escape the warlike conditions or just the government, the horrible government situations. This next one is about Chinese migrants who actually traveled all the way from China to the United States and trying to come across the border, Mexican border, I believe, to find a better life. And we are just so unprepared for the warlike situations that are creating these refugees and migrants. But here's just a short story about migrants from China even.
Latino migrants crossing the Rio Grande, dividing Mexico from the U.S., is a common sight. But what is less common is Chinese migrants making the same dangerous attempt. This woman says it took her a month to get here. The number of Chinese migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border has increased sharply. According to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, nearly 10,000 crossed on foot from October to April, compared with just over 2,000 who crossed in fiscal year 2022. This man goes by only his surname for fear of retaliation against his family in China. Back home, he worked construction and struggled financially.
It's really hard to survive in China.
He traveled for 42 days through South America to the U.S.
This trip is really tough. Everyone's feet got lots of blisters, emotionally and physically. It's all very, very tiring.
Many Chinese migrants take similar routes, flying from China to Turkey and then to Ecuador because of its relatively loose visa policy. From there, they travel by foot and bus through South and Central America to the U.S.-Mexico border, some paying a guide or asking for directions along the way. In response to VOA's request for comment, the Chinese embassy wrote, "The Chinese government has always opposed illegal immigration and adopted various measures to stop illegal exits." This video shot by VOA Mandarin went viral on Chinese social media, prompting the former editor-in-chief of China's state-run Global Times to respond on Chinese social media Weibo. He wrote, "China is progressing rapidly, and now the vast majority of Chinese people don't need to take the risk of swimming across the border river." Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley says about a month ago, some 100 Chinese migrants a day were arriving here at this Texas shelter. This man from Shanghai made the journey with his wife and daughter. He's using a pseudonym, fearing retaliation from the Chinese government.
All Chinese people know our Chinese government is too powerful and too controlling.
Some of these migrants say they heard about the South American route through postings on Douyin, the Chinese version of TikTok, where those who have made the journey describe what to bring, where to meet a bus, and where to find bathrooms and food. This man, who chooses to use only the name Wang because his parents are still in China, explains why he left his homeland.
I don't have any hope for the future of China. I feel like it's going to get worse, going back to the time of the Cultural Revolution.
Professionally, what I did in China is not valid in the US. I'll need to find low-level jobs. Work that Americans don't want to do, we'll go do. I'm already mentally prepared.
Many of these migrants say they plan on moving on to New York or California, where many Chinese live, to face the challenge of surviving in a new land. For Hailuan, Mo Yu, Ning Wu, and Victor Hugo Castillo, Elizabeth Lee, VOA News.
So I just wanted to highlight for just those two videos, how the refugee migrant situation can be solved, or at least can be worked in a way that people can experience a better life coming to another country if we have leadership that is planning for this chaos. But we don't have that. And that's why it's so important to develop communities like we were talking about earlier with Kwame and Prince Israel, that help us grow in a community that has the like-mindedness of being masters over your own your own body and ruling with the Creator. Now, this one last video I want to share with you is from Noam Chomsky, is a Jewish man who people listen to a lot because he has a lot of wisdom about the Jewish community and other things. But this one in particular, someone was asking him about whether the Israels or the Jews are Khazars. And his answer was pretty enlightening if you are listening to this discussion about Khazars Jewish people, because he brings in the idea that it has nothing to do with DNA, but it has a lot to do with the culture of a people. So this is only about a 4-minute audio, but listen to the wisdom from this man about debates on Khazars and DNA and all this conversation, when again we're defining Israel as any human soul, any human being who rules in harmony and unity with the Most High Creator of the universe versus the chosen ones. So here's a little wisdom as we prepare to close.
Are you familiar with the Khazar theory? There's a theory, it's widely accepted as anti-Semitic, that Ashkenazi Jews come from the Khazars and they're not Levantine. But DNA test.
It's not anti-Semitic. It's a question of fact. So Shlomo Sand, for example, has argued that, I think probably exaggerated, but it's simply a question of fact. If my ancestors from the Ukraine have Khazar roots, changes nothing. I'm Jewish. My grandfather was Jewish. My family happens to have a story saying that we're descended from the Baal Shem Tov. Okay, that's part of the culture. Doesn't matter what the DNA shows. We live. This is a point that Ahad Ha'am made over a century ago in his lectures on the two Moseses. He says, yes, there's a Moses of history who may have existed, may not have existed. There's a Moses of culture, and that exists as a cultural phenomenon. And it's the cultural phenomenon within our cultural tradition, whoever Moses might have been, and if he even existed. Yes, that's true. We live in a world of cultural traditions. Makes no difference what the DNA says. So, okay, if the DNA says we're not descended from the Baal Shem Tov, hence back to King David, but we're descended from somebody in the Caucasus, makes absolutely no difference to our identity. Let's stop this silly game altogether. It's maybe of some scholarly historical interest, but of no significance for the modern world. The modern world is the cultural entities that we're part of, okay? Social and cultural entities. And so we should throw all that aside. They can play with it in biology labs in Israel where they're intent on showing something absurd. But we live in this world with its own cultural, social, political structures. And in this world, I'm Jewish, no matter what the DNA shows. There is an actual existing world in Israel-Palestine. I've already reviewed briefly what it is. Sharp discrimination against Palestinians within Israel, illegal settlements in occupied West Bank, destruction of Gaza. Those are the major phenomena we have to deal with. And there are ways to deal with them. And talking about what happened in the Bible is not going to help.
Now, that's an old man on his way out. And there are probably many people who don't agree with him, or if you do, it is interesting to have a discussion about it. But if any of you have any comments on that, I would love to hear them. But my comment is this. An old man who believes that doesn't matter about DNA, doesn't matter about what Israel is doing to prove whatever they want to prove, that they're the chosen ones. It's a cultural thing. And that's where we can have some really interesting discussions with our American Jewish men and women who are coming out of the idea that they are the chosen ones. And that's what this show has been about, is to just help us to have open discussions with our neighbors and friends who are waking up. This old man Chomsky may not ever change his mind. As the saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And that's the way it's going to be for some people his age. But these young people are really looking at their lifestyle, their families, what's going on in Gaza, and they're saying, oh, something's got to change, something's got to change. And those of us who have consciousness, who are waking up, who want to see a change, who want peace on earth, we should be ready and willing to have conversations with these young people who see the need for a change, and they don't want to stay in their old traditional ways of living, thinking they're the chosen ones and they got a right to defend themselves, which is total idiot nonsense. So that's where we are in February 2024. It could change at the drop of a hat. Things are going to happen fast, I have a feeling, in the next few weeks, even months, and we should all be ready to share love, compassion, and especially wisdom during these times where people are so confused about everything and their diets, their lifestyle, how to change, and so forth and so on. And even the refugee situation, we're so confused. The New Yorkers have a right to demand that they export anybody who's here in their city, beating up on the policemen, and who don't want to follow the law. And yet somehow there's a disagreement or conflict about that. Insanity rules these days. So that's why I love doing these shows that bring us another thought pattern, another way to look at what is going on in our society, in our world, and realizing it's just time to have conversations, deep conversations in some places that open us up to work together, as Prince Yisrael introduced, working together, bringing unity, bringing harmony, and growing our own food, and just realizing that we can make a difference. We can make a big difference on this planet, starting with our minds. So we only have a few minutes left. If you have a comment, Kwame, Mama AZ, I think I still have Naima's. Your mics are open if you have any last comments. Otherwise, we're going to say goodbye to our global family. Let me see. Stream.
Sister Viata.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you played Norman Chomsky, and what happens is we have this generational divide.
Yes.
And
yes.
the thing that we have to do as elders, we have had the experience, and we have had the time that, has given us a certain amount of wisdom. The part that we have to begin to understand is, but they come in with purpose and knowledge that we cannot perceive, and we have to be willing to help to build that which they come to build.
Yes.
And the part of it is that we stand on the ancestors that were before us that have crossed over. I learned a great lesson with my mother crossing over, is because she had a birthday in which she birthed me onto this planet. And she, in turn, left her body and joined back with the spirit world, but she left me with the mother that we're all going to be left with, is called Mother Earth.
Yes.
And how we use our mother, and this is why the Overground Railroad creating the Oasis, because they're urbanized them from their mother.
Yes.
And we have to come back into order, because there's a nature's order,
90 seconds,
natural order to us as humans, and we've got to see indigenous people of this land, because we are. This is where they're now attempting to go back to old ways, looking at what was the indigenous teachings, and now how can we take that and put it into technology? All of that's not going. It is not going to work. We can
60 seconds
that techno spiritual, but we have to all there's divine intelligence over artificial intelligence, and that's the challenge that we're in.
Dr. V.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank us, Brother Kwame. Today is a 5. And if you add the digits up, that's change. So thank you for everybody's comment today on the show. It's about change. And we as a people, copper colored people, it's not going to work, family, if we don't love each other and especially ourselves. Change. Today is a
10 seconds.
Peace.
And Brother Kwame, if you like, I'll share your number with Prince Israel, and the same for you. If you want to get in contact with Prince, I'll give you his number.
Yeah, you can. I was going to ask you to, I was going to text you and tell you could my number and communicate, because we're right here in the same area.
I know, isn't it?
And everything is in divine. That's why he was on. The comments were made, and we responded in the way we did, because that's the way the Creator works.
Hallelujah. And so it is. Hallelujah. I'll do that tonight. And thank you all for coming together tonight to listen and to learn and to hopefully share what you've learned with others, so we can indeed develop more unity and more love in our communities wherever we are. So everybody have a good week, and tomorrow morning is Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda. So join her early for breathing and consciousness activity, and she has a great guest. I believe it's Lionel Hadul will be with her. So thank you all again. Shalom. And we're going to say thank you to our global family. Hallelujah.
Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe.
Sheshe.
India, Zanyaba.
Zanyaba.
Japan, Arigato.
Arigato.
Korea, Kamsamnida.
Kamsamnida.
Russia, Spasiba.
Spasiba.
Germany, Danke.
Danke.
Poland,
Jonkinyong.
France, Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Spain, Gracias.
Gracias. Muchas
Italy.
gracias.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Egypt,
Shukran.
Ghana,
Madasi.
Nigeria, Eshe,
Eshe.
South Africa,
Niabonga.
Senegal, Geret,
Geret.
Kenya, Asante,
Asante.
Israel, Toda,
Todaraba.
Pakistan, Shukriya,
Shukriyan.
Afghanistan, Tashakur,
Tashakur.
Saudi Arabia, Shukran,
Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And to all my yogi friends out there,
Mercy of God and God's blessings.
I say Satnam and Namaste. And to my friends in Hawaii, aloha, aloha. We love you. Stand strong, Lahaina. Stand strong. Maui, you got this. We love you. We're sending prayers. And everybody keep the faith and keep shining your light. Shalom.